Welcome back. Denver, Colorado, Race for 8, season number 3, Senior Race for 8, season number 2. I'm David Fink, alongside Hall of Famer and broadcast partner John Bike. John, this is the semifinals of the Senior Race for 8 Players Championship. A lot on the line here. These are probably not the two guys we would have expected to see here in this match, as Dave Vincent shocked Marcos Chavez last night in the quarterfinals. Matt McLaughlin got through Dan Armijo. John.
Yeah, fascinating last night's, the quarterfinal matchups. Matt and Dan figured they were just playing for the final invite to Salt Lake City, so very intense match. And David just kind of created the drama during the day. No one would give him a serious shot at playing someone like Marcos Chavez unless you know about his grit, tenacity, and massive two-way hooks. And he kind of put all the pressure on himself by, during the day, calling the victory. He said, "I'm Joe Namath right here."
Dave Vincent, Tucson, Arizona.
Well, he's got the Joe Namath green on.
Next to Kansas, Matt's going to be serving.
Completely nailed it, made the prediction. I said, you know, if you're wrong, you're Patrick Ewing, because Patrick Ewing used to make a lot of predictions too. But he was definitely Joe Namath. He made the call. It's about a 16-point underdog and won the match outright.
0-0.
Yeah, that was an amazing result for Dave, probably the best win of his life, and that's a guy that he really looks up to, Marcos.
Yeah, we speak highly of Marcos in the booth, but Dave, just combination of his phenomenal hooks, and Marcos admittedly mixed motivation. He's still in the pro event, so I mean he was in there to win. He didn't want to lose the prize money. In fact, he thought he might have eliminated himself from Salt Lake City. He was that upset about the result. Marcos with his 10 points, though, mathematically, I believe, has he guaranteed a spot, and that's what we saw a lot of last night. That Dave Vincent reverse.
John, I played Dave on Monday in Tucson, and at that time he wasn't entered in the tournament. I said, "You've got to enter. This is the best I've ever seen you play." And luckily for him, somebody dropped out, and he slid into that spot to fill out the draw. And it's really worked out well for him, and he's got a chance now to not only go to Salt Lake City as the play-by-play analyst, but also as an Elite Four Senior Race for 8 player.
2-0.
I love what he brings to the table. We got this great ground level camera here to show probably the best hooks currently in handball. I mean, he plays head to head with Luis often. I mean, well, you would know better than I did. Was that a little hyperbole there?
No, they actually play at 6 in the morning.
And he's got in Matt McLaughlin's head too. You see that serve and you say, "Oh my gosh, he's going to get 10 to 15 free points. If he earns 10 more points, I lose." Not if he hits it that hard, though. So I'm saying that's just the nerve. That's the DV factor.
Well, Matt played very tight this morning against Dan, knowing he had to win to have a chance to go to Salt Lake City, and you could see that he wasn't flowing, wasn't very loose. Now, I expect him to be a little bit looser here, but against a guy like Dave who's throwing him off with the hops, it's going to be tough for him.
Look at that effort.
Matt had already given up on that play. Dave's diving, hitting a backhanded punch fist.
He went for the 3-wall kill there. He was trying to splat that in the right corner off the left wall, and it came up a little short.
For those that haven't seen Dave playing on the webcast, yes, he has lost about 65 pounds in the last 6 months, so it's a different Dave Vincent.
And I've had the privilege of playing some national age group doubles with him, and my gosh, when his head is in the right place, even when he was Big Dave, just a phenomenal shot maker and rock solid consistent performer as well. Not so much in that shot, but trust me.
1-4.
Well, you and Dave have won a number of national
That number is 2. Number's 2, but we've only entered 2.
Yeah.
So
3-wall and 4-wall.
That's right, 1 of each. But I'm saying, boy, he does have that game within him to compete with anyone. The game that brought him over Marcos Chavez last night, if we see that today, we're watching a big lime green finalist.
Lime green machine.
Beautiful. I was looking for the right word. Thank you.
When Dave gets comfortable and he can get himself into rallies, he's dangerous. He's not as comfortable against serve and shoot guys, which Matt normally is, but Matt has not made a lot of great kill shots today. In fact, in his match against Danny, he skipped more than he made.
And once again, David Fink, being the ultra-prepared professional, actually volunteered to referee that match just so that he'd be more prepared to give these matches the due they deserve.
Well, that was a match I'd circled, and I'd look forward to it, and I didn't want to miss it, so I was happy to be in the hot seat. You see Matt adjusting to Dave's hop nicely there, punches that to the ceiling. Dave and Matt actually played doubles together in 2011 in Minnesota, lost in the 40s final. So they're familiar with each other.
Who was that to?
Four.
I believe that was to Mike McDonald and his partner. I'm not sure who that
Maybe
was.
Dean Crespin or
Yeah, it could have been.
Mark O'Lear.
Oh, and there goes
There it
Dave with a
is.
splat. That one didn't pan out for him, but look at that anticipation.
Way to work the rally.
Matt telling me, John, after he beat Armijo, he said, you know, I've dedicated my life to fitness. I'm eating well. I'm working out every day. And my dad said to me, Matt, why didn't you do this 20 years ago when you could have been a top pro? You waited until you're 45 to stop, you know, partying and drinking. He said, well, I just decided I want to live a longer life now that I'm 45.
Well, it's better to come upon that knowledge someday than never. Better late than never might be the expression I was looking for there.
That's right.
Yeah, my first memory of Matt, he's about 4 or 5 years my junior, was at a juniors nationals where apparently they weren't as tight on underage drinking as they are now, because he was about 13 years old and he was, I don't know who supplied it for him. That guy should have been in jail. But it's been uphill since then. Then as a very tenacious, competitive collegiate player at Lake Forest College, and all the way to what we see now. And his father makes a great point. When I, in the 90s, when I was a road warrior, when I came to the Midwest as one of the top players in the country, I always had my hands full with him. He didn't actually beat me till last year, but boy, we had some good matches.
On this court.
He beat me on this court last year, but I'm saying in the 90s when I was really on top of things, he was a tough out for me.
I thought it was good. We don't.
I missed that. I don't know if the ball's over the line or not, but Dave Vincent, statistically proven to be right 100% of the time.
I have one guy who thought it was good.
We'll see if that pans out
Oh.
while
You
he's
wanna
on the
get
court.
line, judges?
He's definitely right from the booth.
Okay, 2-6. Hang on.
Matt McLaughlin, John, is 45 years old, so maybe he was 15 at that time when he was.
You good?
The tournament I'm
Mark?
thinking about, I
Line
was
judge, are you
18.
gonna
So
stick
yeah,
around?
he was 14 or.
Matt spars at home with Ryan Willis, Tommy Little,
Okay.
and excuse
All right,
me
we
for
got
this
it. We have
pronunciation,
Mark
but Paul
and Terry.
Fanasteel.
Scores 2 serving
Probably
6.
said that wrong. I apologize to Paul, who I'm sure is watching.
Start.
Paul's our age. I've played Paul in age group competition. I'm not even going to try the last name.
Matt started playing at the age of 8.
Yeah, I
Playing
believe he might have been one of those guys who was winning like the inaugural 11 and unders. And
Point.
Dave Vincent said he
3-6.
started playing when he was 19, played racquetball for a year. His dad had tried to get him to play handball for a lot of years, and he just said, no, I don't want to play handball. And that's a nice
that's the
shoot
key to
and kill.
Matt's win here. Like
Dave went in there and beat his dad, who was the city champion the first time he ever played.
4 serving 6.
you know, Dave is 100% right and 100% honest, but that one's a lot. I'm not sure about that.
Well, I don't know if you could have believed that he was going to hit a revolving door left-handed flat roll from
anything,
37 feet.
not the
and
first
did
time
it.
he played against that kind of quality of opposition. You don't just beat a city champion the first time you play.
Well,
Maybe in your dreams.
Don't shoot the messenger.
Definitely not. I would never do that. Definitely Dave Vincent in my crosshairs on that one.
Okay.
7-4.
That could be something that comes up later tonight.
Oh, I will definitely
over maybe
try
a
and
bottle or
verify that.
10 of wine.
It'll be one or the other, and probably not one.
Oh, look at that
I
get
love
from
that
Dave.
effort. That's Dave Doubles, national champion right there. Look, boy, he's just fired up.
You know, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that I think Dave plays more handball than anybody on the planet. He probably plays a minimum of 4 days a week and a minimum of
8-4.
7 games every time he plays.
You might be right on the indoor, but I think there's probably 1,000 or so
Okay.
big ballers who just do that all day.
That's a good point. I was referring to indoor, and I should have been more
Dave
specific.
looking really good here.
Dave Vincent, originally from
9-4.
Klamath Falls, Oregon, now resides in Tucson. Also spent some time in Northern California, where he worked in radio for 15 years.
We're fortunate to have that kind of experience and talent in our booth, and this will set us back if he actually qualifies for Salt Lake as a player. His broadcasting talent will be sorely missed.
I believe either way we win, because if he does qualify, we're definitely going to need you in Salt Lake.
So I'm rooting hard for. I've somewhat swept under the rug. I have officially retired from competitive singles. It's not one of those. I won't name names.
Right.
Those that you go back and forth on 4 different times.
So this is not a boxing retirement.
Not a boxing retirement. Not
Not the 21.
It's interesting, John. Dave Vincent says, in his opinion, the best player of all time is Toddy Silveira.
I like that answer to that question, because Toddy deserves to be in the discussion, but because of his split allegiances to family, establishing himself as a firefighter and handball, he doesn't have the record of anybody, but anyone who's been in the court with Toddy would definitely put him in that discussion.
Truly amazing. What happens, though, when you retire so young is that people only remember your great moments.
That's absolutely, yeah. The legend of Toddy. Nobody.
He keeps getting better every year.
No, that's
as opposed to somebody like Noddy Jr., who we keep watching play, and you see him more and more vulnerable, and maybe he doesn't get into that discussion for that reason. And of course, Toddy won more titles than Noddy, but similar styles and similar levels of play, I would say.
4, serving 9.
Yeah, the 2 national singles titles for Silveira it's kind of like a prerequisite.
Second serve.
Matt
Very
goes
sharp
Z
Z
serve
there.
here.
Didn't phase Dave at all.
No. Great return. John, I know that you only played 1 match here this week, but did you find it difficult to put the ball down? Is it something about the courts, maybe the altitude, that the ball's not staying down?
Mine were going too low.
Okay.
I was having no problem at all popping them straight into the floor.
9-4.
Off the side of my hand. So actually, though, yeah, the ball, I struck 1 ball well, and you're right, it stayed up. I thought I had a kill shot, and it was about
that's
it came
an
all the way.
amazing shot.
Dave's, this is the vintage. I saw Dave Vincent play like this in a few national doubles finals, about 50 pounds heavier, and said, boy, if that boy could lose some weight, he'd be something.
Well,
right now we're seeing it.
This is the game that Dave Vincent tells me he plays at 6 in the morning against Luis Moreno. I've never actually seen them play, but I hear the results, as do you. And this is what I guess is happening at the early morning.
Excellent effort again, sprawled out.
And John, does that get into your mind if you're Matt McLaughlin? You just hit a ball 2 inches high, and Dave Vincent still almost gets to it?
Oh yeah, you just, what do I have to do to beat this guy?
And that was a great serve, and Dave defends it, but
this is pretty much Matt's. It's going to have to be big serve, corner kill right off the bat, because everything else is not going his way right now.
5-10.
He's got 2 of his 5 points on a serve and a corner kill. Now 3 points of hitting 2 or less shots in the rally.
6 serving 10.
That's probably going to be his key to victory. But you were on Luis Moreno, I want to recommend as a must-read, although I think there's already been like 6 to 7 figure hits on this, but your article on Luis Moreno was really spot on.
Oh, thank you.
You did him justice. More than just facts too. Really got into the person Luis is, and it's what I know of Luis. You absolutely nailed it.
Thank
you. I would seriously recommend. I don't know the link or the hashtag, but
well, you can like World Players of Handball on Facebook. You'll find it there. You can go to our message board where you go to WPHlive.tv, click on message board. You can also find that on my Twitter page. And I'll give you my Twitter handle right now.
7-10.
McLaughlin quickly crept back into this.
Short.
At DFWPH.
Second serve.
So a lot of different places to find that. Matt McLaughlin on a nice little run here. And
look at that. That's actually the first opportunity Dave had, and he just jumped on it. He attacked that thing like it was a plate of French fries, and he was a year ago.
10 serving 7.
So maybe like a half an avocado now.
Yeah, or some kind of nuts, sunflower seeds or something. He's still voracious, just different content.
There's an amazing article coming out, and this is actually a segue. Paul Fitzpatrick, who's an incredible writer in Ireland.
I like that. I like that thought, but in Denver it just didn't work.
Too much altitude, but Paul Fitzpatrick doing a story on Steve Lott, who was Jimmy Jacobs' protege, and
7-10.
Jimmy Jacobs saying that he liked to stand off to the side and serve hops right down the middle. And Dave Vincent applies that same strategy, because if you don't have the
8-10.
side walls to help you, very difficult.
That was a big weapon for Chuck Reeve and Al Moore, the other top hook artists I faced. And you, for about a year, you were just ripping off mad hops. Can you get that back in 3 weeks?
Well, can you hit hops off your thumb?
I think that's part of it, yeah.
Nice shots.
Even on the bounce and serve?
Yes, even on the serve, I'm hitting my thumb. I blame it on my concussion. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't go from number 2 in the world to not able to make contact with the ball.
Yeah.
I like that shot right
that's
there.
Incredible. He puts just the right spin on that.
I love how I had enough time to get that whole sentence out from contact to when it actually went.
10-8.
Dave needs to put some points on the board here. Matt's on a pretty big run.
Matt showing he's not phased by the reverse anymore. Dave's going to have to find another way.
11-8.
Matt does not hit a lot of good shots off balance. And not that many do, but it just seems like doesn't really get his feet set as he's moving to his right.
Yeah, he'd be well served to recognize that and just do something safe.
Yeah, yeah. Saw him hit about 5 skips with that same shot moving to his right this morning.
Dave really, selection is perfect. Execution just enough off that he hasn't won the rally yet. But Dave, you can see what's in his head. Boy, he's just running Matt everywhere. Tried for a bigger reverse and he got that time. That's another smart shot, but just
Matt's
not
unable
executed.
to put that away.
Well, he's taking a little of Matt's legs right here. I think I would have gone sidewall front on that. Actually, I would have put it in the floor. But
really a sloppy rally.
Sloppy rally, but
25 shots. I don't think any of them were really of that high quality, but Dave Vincent wins it, and both guys have to be winded after that exchange.
I thought Dave made the right choice every time and just never quite executed any of them, and then Matt didn't punish him for the failed execution. Dave just wanted to see him hit that.
Matt nonchalantly takes care of that.
Eight, serves 12.
This is a match
that's beautiful.
that I've wanted to see for a couple of years since I saw Matt play for the first time a couple of years ago as Dave's partner.
12-8.
Told Dave a couple of times that I'd love to see the two face, and now here they are in a big match.
And it's exactly what we've been hoping for to this point.
Matt is gunning for his first ever senior race for 8 championship.
And it's kind of wide open. You got to figure Andy Shad favored, but when Marcos Chavez went down, everybody must have got a shot of adrenaline, saying, "Hey, I got a chance to win this now."
Oh, beautiful shot.
Oh, and he put a spin on the backhand.
Oh, that's frustrating. He overhits that.
Yeah, he's going for the right shot every time. I love. Oh, that's just beautiful. That should count for more than 1 point. Are you kidding me?
Well, the NBA is talking about having a 4-point shot. Shouldn't that be a 2 or 3 point shot?
More than one. More than one. Are you kidding me?
First time out at 12-8.
Yeah, I would call timeout. I'd probably just leave. I'd probably just go home, to be honest. There's a replay. Excellent production value for these semis. First of all, the backhand get with spin on it.
Overhits this.
There's his mistake. He throws his hands up in disgust, a la David Fink. And oh! And the whole club just. The entire club, every seat in the house who can see this TV, had to take a look at that. They're all emulating it now.
Even
you
Dave
can't do
watched
that. Don't even
highlight.
pretend you can do that. Other guys saying, "You see what he did?" Shot of the tournament. I don't know who's compiling the highlight reel for this tournament. Dave Vincent didn't even want this match webcast.
10 seconds.
First of all, to get with the natural on it, the backhand natural. And now, you know what?
10 seconds.
The hand throw,
10 seconds.
Boy, that just made it look easy,
10
too.
seconds.
That is senior race for 8 at its finest right there.
That's a highlight of the year on any of our tours.
I undersell things sometimes, but I agree.
Let's play.
That instant replay sponsored by Tucson Rolling Shutters. John, I know that you're very familiar with them. Jeff Helum in Tucson, Arizona, watching. Like to say hello to him. I know he loved that shot. He loves watching Dave Vincent. They play together in league quite a bit.
Yeah, Jeff actually brought my brother and I together. My brother spent 2 years eventually in a graduate program here, but Jeff hired him to work for a while just so he could be in Tucson and experience all the camaraderie and goodness that is Tucson handball.
It's a wonderful scene. Jeff employs a couple of handball players, including Chris Maldonado, who's a really talented young player, about the same age as Luis Moreno.
There's a natural, but Matt seems to be on to both of the hooks. But who could be on to that? I mean, very important to me that Matt wins this rally. No long-term effects from, I don't even have a name for that shot. Just best shot ever, the BSE.
That's about right. Maybe the CSE,
effort,
coolest shot ever.
Side out.
Coolest shot ever, yeah.
Well done.
That shot was truly beast.
9 serves 12.
We've seen how critical
It's 8.
this time is just
Sorry.
before halftime. Where
Right, I'm sorry. 8 serving 12.
if you can take that lead into halftime as opposed to letting your opponent back in, that sets the table for the second half.
Impressed with McLaughlin's energy here.
Much like in football, John, you see a team dominate the entire first half and then allow their opponents to go straight down the field with 2 minutes left, and now all of a sudden it's a different game.
It looks bad for them at that point, yeah. We'll see, but you don't have to tell Dave Vincent that. He knows. It seems mainly a matter of execution with him at this point. I love his game plan. I love the shots he's trying to hit. And he's having just enough success to keep a small lead. He just left that up a little. In my mind, brilliant selection to go with the overhand opposite corner kill.
8-12.
He is using that opposite corner. Matt's kind of onto that too now.
Great shot there from Matt. Beautiful pickup from Dave.
We'll put a natural on that one, and that's boy, he just located that one perfectly. You can see him come under it and break it into the wall like David Chapman.
Shot. You know, Dave watches more film than anybody, so he's always trying to pick up on nuances and different types of shots.
Little telltale there. Seeing he's wearing 2 shirts, but we're seeing the first beads of sweat on the distended liver mark there.
Side out.
When asked what his goals are for the senior race for 8, Matt McLaughlin channeled Herm Edwards. You play to win the game, he said.
Can't go wrong with that. Who can argue?
Says if he doesn't win, though, he wants to be able to say that he played his best and left everything on the court.
Uncharacteristic outright error. When Dave's been missing today, it's been missing too high. He has not really given away any freebies like that. Do you have Dave Vincent's bio there, or we're just going freestyling?
I'm waiting for the right opportunity to break that out. Matt McLaughlin, interestingly, John, cites his favorite all-time player as Vern Roberts.
Oh,
because he was
makes
as
perfect sense to me. Yeah.
Smooth as anyone he's ever seen, but doesn't really play like Vern. So he kind of admires someone who plays a totally different style.
That's a well-rounded person to recognize the value in something like that.
Yeah.
I saw Chapman at age 14 moving people around the court and just, I mean, I said instantly, wow, that's amazing, but it wasn't something I could ever do.
And when you try it, it just tires you out. And
12.
Yeah, off your my own, I'll speak about myself in the first person, my own natural tempo and my own abilities with accuracy and all. but McLaughlin has drawn even here, and I'm seeing a lapse. Vincent's energy, probably intelligently saving himself for something, but that's. Boy, what a call you made at 12-8 though about
12.
going into the locker room with momentum. Crucial rallies coming up now.
You know, it looks easy here from the booth, but when you're in the court, it's hard to breathe in this altitude. I don't know if you experienced any of that today.
Yeah, absolutely.
14-12.
But even though it looks like you might not be doing much from here in the booth.
Oh no, doesn't look like that at all.
Okay.
And
Halftime.
Vincent fans
15-12.
cannot be happy with
well,
what?
John, since the CSE, the coolest shot ever, Dave Vincent has lost
exactly
7
right.
straight points.
It was 12-8 at CSE.
It seemed like at that point, Dave lost his concentration. He was playing to the cameras.
Maybe that was it. Yeah, but still, we've got that shot. I mean, no one's going to remember who wins this match, but that shot will live forever.
Normally, I would agree with you, but they will remember if Dave Vincent's in the Senior Players Championship, and he'll need to win this match to have any chance to make it. And I know that there's some interested parties right around this booth crunching the numbers, seeing if their points are going to hold up or what they need to do. Now remember, you've got Gary Scoggin, who was eliminated, but Bear Meyering is still alive to win this tournament. He's in the semifinals against Andy Shad. Now if Bear was to win this tournament, he's in the discussion to make the senior.
So what's the magic number, the cutoff? This one was too complex for me. This complex two tournament algorithm, paying down to 6 places and points. It was more than I could.
You'd think
I
with
could
only
handle.
2 tournaments it'd be pretty easy, but it's become so complicated that I don't even feel like speculating.
I wouldn't want to give anyone the wrong information.
Yeah.
We do know that Bike has been mathematically. Well, no, I retired first. Then I was eliminated when I retired.
So are you now taking off the rankings because you retired?
I would request that you do that. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. I hate to do it, but if you request
It had to happen. Had to happen.
Okay.
I'm going to specialize in backyard, family, big ball doubles.
There's a shot of Mark Hammond, who was a college teammate of Matt McLaughlin's at Lake Forest College back in the 70s, I believe. Or was that
No, it was with
the
me,
80s?
late 80s.
Okay.
A couple of years behind me.
I dated Matt and Mark a bit there.
I was class of 88, so he might have made it to 90 or 91, actually. He might maybe even 90s.
Matt says that his dad inspired him to play at such a high level. Mr. McLaughlin watching back home in Kansas City. Want to say hello to him? John, he cited you, Matt, that is, as being the senior race for 8 pro that he wants to play the most because you're 1-1, but he'll never get another opportunity.
Absolutely
so
not.
You'll retire with your senior race for 8 head-to-head against Matt McLaughlin at 1-1. There's not many people, John, that can say they were 1-1 against you lifetime in pro play. So that's a pretty good accomplishment for Matt.
I don't know what to say to that.
I mean, how many people, John, have a winning record against you in tournament play?
13.
Hmm.
That's a good trivia question. Good name them. Name them.
Well, much more impressive, though, is how quickly you answer.
Well, kind of like you guys have that radar gun that just comes to you.
Yeah.
You always get the right number.
Yeah. Well, of course, there's some variance. It only is 99.9% accurate, so.
There's margin of error on my answer as well.
Okay. Because you know in tennis on shot spot, it's only 99.9% accurate. There's wind and other factors that come into play. I actually believe that it's a video game that they're playing, and
I wonder about that
it
myself.
doesn't have anything to do with the ball that
If
was
it's
actually hit.
The ball I just saw hit, was that
Yeah.
really what they just?
Right. I've seen a couple of instances where it was clearly not the ball that was hit.
And that cast doubt in the whole process.
Also,
I'm kind of rooting for Dave Vincent to go tank top, gun show mode. He probably won't, but I think he could pull it off.
well, the gun show worked for Emmett this morning. Took a 15-5 lead
And
with the
there
gun
was
show.
speculation that he was just so uncomfortable he'd never do it, but obviously it suited him.
Yeah. Well, there
So
was
we'll
some
see.
talk that maybe he should do some more curls before he wears that shirt next time, but maybe he doesn't need them.
It's bottom line is the result is slightly more important than the look. Slightly.
Wow.
It'd be
Pretty
best to have
close.
both. It'd be best to have both.
55-45.
That's yeah. My sources said 53-47.
Okay.
That's within
Yeah,
the
within range.
statistical deviation there.
Matt McLaughlin saying the best tournament he ever won,
Okay,
the
Dave
U.S.
Vincent
Nationals
serving.
in 2011.
12 serves 15.
Dave Vincent to serve. Dave Vincent's favorite all-time pro player, Tony Healy.
Another excellent answer.
That's a good shot from
Point.
Dave as he gets off the schneid. Matt McLaughlin scoring 7 consecutive points going into the
13,
half.
15.
Now Dave has broken that momentum. He'll look to start this second half the way he did the first, where he built a 5-0 lead. Jen, you hear a lot of guys saying, you know, I've completely rededicated myself. I work out now. I eat healthier. I'm just speaking in generalities, but do you really see that big of a difference in their games? To me, it looks like everyone plays just about the same.
It's enough of a
Right
skill game that the amount of physical preparation or lack of preparation is just
15,
one small factor,
13.
it seems
Yeah.
to me.
I mean, you hear these golfers talk about how much they're working out, but does it really make them any better? I mean, I don't. Oh, it's a good shot from Matt.
It's very tough for Dave Vincent to come off like the win of your
16,
life
13.
the night before and then webcast the entire day, 4 compelling matches,
Extremely compelling.
and then have to do it all over again.
Oh, terrible error
Matt,
from Matt.
on the other hand, would be very excited about getting himself into the championship with the win over
13,
Armijo and then
16.
not having to face Marcos Chavez this round. It's all gravy to him at this point.
Both guys dealing with what could be letdowns. Oh, that's a great
Point.
serve
That's-
from Dave. I don't know if I've ever seen him hit a serve that hard.
I was just about to relate a story about at the Los Caballeros site. Those of us who are familiar with it, the distance
14,
from
16.
the webcast booth to the building with the basketball court, that on the other side is the 3-wall court in the
Short.
Arroyo. I saw David throw a ball left-handed
Second
over
serve.
that roof,
Right.
which I couldn't come close to doing, and yet on the court I'm not seeing that same
Second
power.
serve.
Yeah, it's strange.
I don't understand it at all. But he fired a ball probably twice as far as I could. I'm not seeing him hit the ball twice as hard as anybody.
That's a
though.
good shot from Dave. And that's a Luis Moreno shot, the inside-out right-hand paddle kill. He looks like he's going left, and at the last
15,
second,
serving
Mm.
16.
swings
Like
to
that,
the
yeah.
outside. Matt should have done more with that serve with Dave pinned on the left. Dave wearing his Team Edel gear. Those are Edel handball gloves.
16 serving 15.
Very unique fit, very comfortable, and they're basically a dry fit handball gloves. So you don't have to worry about changing your gloves during the match. They absorb the sweat.
17
I've
15.
heard good things,
Yeah.
nothing but positive reports on that product so far.
Very cool concept. We have the president and founder of Edel Handball here this week, Ben Edel. He and his company are the title sponsor
It's a
of
well-struck shot
our
there.
Race for 8 tour. So we want to
18
thank him.
15. Hit again.
And this is a crucial moment in this match for Dave because 18-15, if he loses a couple more points here, it becomes almost impossible to come back from 21 to 15 or 22. I haven't seen many comebacks from those
18-15.
deficits.
Yeah, there's been a lot of the same kind of pattern. We're observing one player doing spectacular, crazy things to get his points, and the other guy just doing what he does. And so far, in every
Side out.
case, the guy just making the routine shots has pulled through, and we'll see if Dave Vincent can
15
change
18.
that.
Dave Vincent saying that he decided to devote his life to promoting handball because
That's
he
an
realized it
avoidable-
was the
that's
one
an
game
avoidable
he
hinder.
loved most of all sports that he's ever played, so he decided to give back.
He's truly, if I didn't know for a fact it wasn't
16-18.
true, I would have assumed he had a Jesuit education, because he's truly a man for others.
Sure.
The motto
Yeah.
of the Jesuits. Just always thinking about what's best for the other guy, what's best for
Second
mankind.
serve.
Big setup here for Dave. He should take care of this, and he does. John, does he
Point.
go for that front right corner like that? Is he aiming front wall, side wall?
That's a good question. I don't have a 190 IQ,
17-18.
so I'm really not qualified to answer.
I see a lot of players hitting that shot, and I've never even attempted it.
Point.
It's another thing. I can appreciate what he's doing as I'm seeing it, but I could never conceive of it and execute it myself.
18.
Now Dave has scored 3 quick points when it looked like Matt might be ready to take this match over. Here's another setup.
Gotta love that backhand get. Is another coolest shot ever coming? Not quite. He probably should have backhanded that one.
Dave's senior race for 8 regular season hangs in the balance here. And remember, he didn't even enter this tour until about 72 hours ago. So he went from being a non-participant to 7 points possibly from making the Players' Championship.
Always fascinating to see how people respond to these situations. Matt punched his card a few hours ago, and now Dave has it in his own hands as well.
Serving 18.
Nice return from Dave. Oh, that's a great get.
Phenomenal effort.
Oh, don't go for it.
Oh, that close.
I actually would have rather Dave not gone for that because that takes a lot of energy.
A lot of energy lost, but still sending the message to Matt. I'm right here.
19-18.
Oh.
Dave, timeout. Second timeout at 18-19.
I'm going to look for something inspired off of this timeout.
1 minute.
In speaking about webcasting, Dave Vincent said that the best part about it is making some of the players more universally recognized. There's over 2 million views on the on-demand WPH site watching the matches. So that's a lot of eyeballs on this sport. And Dave's pioneered that effort.
Okay.
As you know, John, started
10
in
seconds.
2005, and now we've grown into a Emmy Award producing product, and it
Phenomenal
really is
production
incredible.
5 seconds.
I mean, the video especially.
Yeah, no,
I have issues. Occasionally people are.
Yeah, no, there's definitely issues with the actually
serving
announcing.
19.
The audio, people just come off as dumb as a clod once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if the Kansas City viewers are familiar with that term.
Oh, and Matt hits that right back at Dave. Another setup, though. And how frustrated will Matt be if he loses this rally? After all those opportunities,
there's your answer.
Huge opportunities.
Yeah, he worked a lot. He put a lot into that point. Should have won it. And this is the Matt McLaughlin I remember, the one I was always able to get past. His nickname in college was the Screamer. A lot more poised now at this stage of his life. But,
Oh,
with the
gosh.
That's the only way that you can play that. That's what Marco should have done yesterday.
That might have been right there with Dave's backhanded kill. Oh, and he wins the rally also.
Wow, what an answer.
But let's take an instant replay from the beginning of
Now
that
we got
rally.
2 highlights.
Why doesn't Dave shoot that ball in the right corner?
He just couldn't believe it came back. He said, there's no way. He's not he knows. He was counting his chicken before it hatched. I was hoping to see the serve.
Yeah, we want to go all the way back to the beginning of this rally. I know that our incredible team of
They're going to get
Linda
it done.
Manning and Jeff Castor will get it done like they always do.
Now this is a phenomenal serve, but the second best shot of the rally as it turned out. There it is. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, it's good.
You see, Dave could have
Good
gone
job.
down the right
Right.
there.
He was just so surprised that the serve came back. But yeah, the right was wide open, wasn't it? But smart move by Matt to get from the return to serve position.
Okay, score is 19.
Was that a screen there?
Serving 19.
That's a close call. I
Dave
think Dave
didn't ask
made
for it.
maximum effort. I think that was as good as he could have done.
And
Boy, that's
John,
a loud noise.
I know you'll mark that rally on your scorecard at 19-18.
Yeah, that was
Dave
hard to come
should
back
have won
from.
that rally.
Point.
That's going to be hard to come back from.
20-19.
Excellent drive there. Look at, I like that. The last quick step.
Matt went for a
Timeout,
difficult left paddle kill, and
Dave.
I
1
think a
minute
smart
and
timeout
19
here from
serving 20.
Dave Vincent.
I like Dave. He's going to use all his timeouts on his own serve, just always thinking he's one run away from victory. So he's just called the second one here. And he's got one more chance if he doesn't just run the 6 right now.
When asked what his favorite handball tournament is, Matt McLaughlin just said anything the WPH puts together.
That's a good answer. And other guys have been dancing around that. I hear them mentioning multiple WPH events, and it's almost like, well, why'd you, I think in my mind, why'd you exclude this one or that one? Aren't they all that good?
It's hard to even compare them because
right, and so I think Matt gave the right answer right there.
Each city really rolls out the red carpet for us like they've done here.
There's club member Anthony Celestio hydrating our horse, our pack mule, our beast of burden, hardest working man in handball.
Matt McLaughlin, like so many of his peers and also Race for 8 pros, citing Paul Brady as the guy he thinks is the greatest player of all time.
19 serving 20.
Dave goes behind himself there, but didn't get quite enough reverse.
I actually think that argument was ended by Darren Graybill's article in 1995 when Paul was just a junior. The best answer ever came from the legendary Darren Graybill. What did he do? Oh! 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 That would have been. He's always thinking. He's always thinking of what you can't quite be sure of.
Is that gamesmanship, or did he actually give up on the point and then decide and change his mind?
That's a good question. That's a good. Was that by design or just the way his synapses fire?
Because Matt certainly sees that peripherally. Dave walking away from the point, so he lets his guard down a little bit, and then all of a sudden Dave's scrambling in.
If I was still playing, I would incorporate that into my game.
Well, you can still use that in outdoor
and
backyard
big ball, yeah,
ball.
big ball. That would. So excellent get there. Now he's not happy with it. Oh, come on. He probably cursed. Oh, here I am. That was definitely by design. That was by design.
Okay, here we go.
Sometimes I overvalue the present achievement because of lack of memory and all, but I think this is the single most entertaining match in the history of handball. Am I?
Even better than our quarterfinal matches this morning?
Those, actually, yeah, we've had 5 beauties, haven't we?
Yeah.
But it's nice to see the runner-up in double figures. I'll start with that.
We're not playing bad hops, right?
And that question is obligatory, has to be asked,
19.
even though everyone knows the answer. I'm trying to figure out why every referee feels the need to say that, even though they know the answer.
Just in case, we have such a come and go, constantly changing audience. These people we track at the ebbs and the new people in, old people leaving, and some of the new people might not be aware of that rule yet. So that's why you would do that. It's like I tune in on a sports radio interview sometimes whenever I get in the car, and if I've missed some essential information, it's useless to me unless they back it up once in a while. That's what Gary Scoggins just did there. Referee Gary Scoggins of Utah.
Oh, that's a shocking miss. That was a huge setup for Matt. That ball
and he decided to go ceiling, his old Lake Forest instincts.
Glove change.
But let's take an instant replay of that. Just that last serve. I mean, Dave hit one of his worst serves of the match. A huge setup for Matt. He could have hit the right corner. He could have hit a laser down the right wall. He could have driven one right at Dave's feet.
He went for the safe shot instead.
Yeah. I mean.
Yeah, right hand setup. Oh, I'm going to pop this to the roof.
even if you pop that to the roof, we haven't seen one ball that's hit the roof and not come off the back wall in this event.
That was a bad choice for several reasons.
Is that nerves there, John?
I think that's just old instincts. That's how that school was drilled to play, and he's got 4 points to advance to the final, and I think that's just how he learned it. He's going back to
Marcos Chavez just told me that he thinks he's tired, and that's why
I
you
think
see
so.
that.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, he didn't trust his footwork to generate some kind of power down the right side. I think Dave had most of the left side angles blocked. Less angle than he would have 50 pounds ago, but still most of them.
It's funny, as big as Dave is, and you know, he's 6'4", he's not really in the way all that much.
He's just one step ahead in all areas of life, including his time on the court. We're just lucky to have him. You just remember that when you get upset about a little blip in the radar once in a while, a little occasional misstep.
Yeah, just
Big
occasional,
picture.
just small ones.
Just little tiny ones
Just
once in a while.
little, I mean,
I knew I couldn't keep a
bumps.
straight face when I knew I was going to lose it on that one, but
Davis serving. 20 serves 21. Short.
This may sound odd,
Second serve.
John, but Dave first proposed the idea of the senior tour to me 2012 at the U.S. Open. We actually did the first and only thing we've ever done socially.
bad
We
second serve there.
went to the beach in Orange County before the U.S. Open started, and he said to me, you know, I think we should do a senior tour, you know, kind of like a
serves
Masters. And look what it's become. I mean, we're seeing some of the best matches and some of the best all-time players in our sport competing like it's 20 years ago.
Yeah, I don't think anything will top that Houston final match for quality of play
In year 1 or 2?
this year.
Okay, because
The
one was
Chavez.
also good.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, that one didn't make it to the webcast booth.
No,
though.
it didn't.
That happened at
It was a good match,
rescheduled.
though. Matt hits a beautiful right corner kill there.
serves 20.
Dave very much still alive here, but Matt needs
Short.
only 3 more points
Second serve.
to make the final.
He unloaded on that, just enough natural, and a little bit between nerves and the
20
lack of
serves
zip in the step
22.
anymore. That's
Well, that looked
made
like-
that shot a lot tougher.
That looked like nerves to me. And that was an amazing
Yeah,
serve,
you
the
gotta
hop
like
right
Dave
down the
Vincent's
middle.
chances right here. He hasn't really broken out this one. This is his favorite serve, and he hasn't done much of it. So maybe he was saving it for his
21
closer
serves
move.
22.
Could it be these new Edel gloves giving him a little bit more grip on the
Short.
ball,
That just
John?
doesn't even seem fair, but I think you're right. Giving Dave Vincent
Second
more
serve.
grip. What a gutsy second serve.
Gosh.
Oh.
He's risking a double fault there. Instead, he hits
Now,
the ace.
let's
Serve
see, because
22.
last night, match point, he hit such a good serve that he just was walking out of the court just knowing that his opponent wasn't going to get it.
Oh, I thought he was going to go for the sky
Let's see if
hook
he can
there.
top that finish.
And if you're Dave, you have to know that Matt is going to be a little bit tight. It's going to be hard
Yeah,
for him to hit
oh,
the bottom
boy,
board. And when you're tight,
Yeah.
you're either going to leave the ball 8 inches up or
Boy, it looks
in the
so good
floor.
for Dave Vincent right now. Let's see if he can top last night, though. When on a match point against Marcos Chavez, he hit a serve.
A
and just
walk-off.
A walk-off serve.
Yeah.
Before Marcos had even played the ball, he was already walking
23
off the court.
serves 22.
Can he top that? A little hard on that one, but it's on the wall.
Oh, my gosh.
Lord.
John, is that 3 aces in a row?
It's unreturned serves. That's
Oh,
we call them service winners.
okay.
What's he going to do to top last night's match point, though? I don't think he can.
Well, I don't know. 4 unreturned serves in a row would be
Yeah,
pretty
for
remarkable.
quantity, yeah, but
24 serves
maybe a backhand
22.
between the legs, Z, ace.
Oh, my
he
gosh!
did it! He did it! Dave Vincent advances to the finals, almost guaranteeing himself a spot in the the Salt Lake City Final Four. What a show!
John, you talk about incredible endings to matches. Have you ever seen a match ended with 4 consecutive unreturned serves? Dave's down 22-21. Seems like he's
swung 4
in a
more
lot
times.
of trouble. 4 swings and the match is over from 21.
Yeah. He's acknowledging that the secret greeting, he's just, oh boy. Boy, Dave Vincent stock is on the rise. Boy, how quickly. Now he follows the same rule. He has to be in the booth within 5 minutes of his match.
Well, the stopwatch
correct?
has already started.
All right,
but
so
it looked, by the way he was walking, that he was on his way.
He knows.
And the stopwatch actually just stopped. You are allowed to take your gloves off before it starts. But, I mean, how excited is Dave Vincent right now? I mean, didn't even expect to be in this event. Now he's taken down 2 amazing players. Now he's in the final.
Just a true Cinderella story. Just, and here he comes. He knows exactly what he's doing. He's already got, and the crowd.
This is the first
what an
ever
outpouring of love.
First ever standing ovation for someone on their way to the booth. We're gonna
now
get the
I love
headset
that.
on.
Unfortunately, we can't go to this shot with his green shirt
We
on.
actually can though.
Thanks, dude.
We are gonna come into the booth here, and Dave, for I believe the first time we're welcoming you in as a winning player. Dave.
Oh wait, you can see Denver behind me. We're gonna have to change. Hold on, let's go back to the court for a quick second.
That's amazing. He's a ghost.
Huh. Well, Dave,
hate to be that guy.
Unbelievable win for you. Let's talk about the ending before we talk about anything else. 4 straight ace serves, unreturnable serves. What's going through your mind there?
Well, there was a sponsor who handed me a adult beverage, and he said, "You're going to win this because of this." And so I said, "Yeah." So let's do it. No, I don't know what happened. I just decided that I was going to try to give him the hardest serve I can hit, and it just happened to be low enough. I was thinking I was going to go for a short ball, but just try to get over the line. But as hard as I can hit it, short. And they just, all of them just made it, and I did a little trickery at the end there. But
so you're down 20 to 22. You score your 22nd point on an unreturned serve. You hit a short, then you go for a second serve ace. I mean, that's gutsy.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking in my head, I heard you say earlier during one of your live broadcasts during the match, I believe it was Emmett versus Armando. You said that Armando really is going to have to be, he's going to have to outscore Emmett like 8-1 every inning. And I was thinking, you're saying the same thing up there about me right now. So I was kind of hearing the ghost of Fink and John Bike here talking about what I would have to do. So I thought to myself, I better just do this right now and go after it. So it worked out.
So in the last 24 hours, you've taken down Marcos Chavez, who's in the semifinals of the Race for 8. Now you've taken down Matt McLaughlin, who's an Elite 4 member of Salt Lake City. This has to be perhaps the greatest 24 hours of your handball playing career?
It was the greatest ups and downs in the last 24 hours, but yeah, for a handball playing career, certainly. And then the great Oliver Boyd, I got in that first round.
I mean, that was almost, Oliver Boyd could be in the final.
Well, yeah,
right
I think the score was 25-23 against him.
Wow.
That was an opening round match.
Okay.
And yeah, no, it was a great. I mean, to beat Marco Chavez is just sort of a lifetime achievement because I grew up kind of idolizing him, even though he might be slightly younger than me. I was a late bloomer.
Yeah.
But so to beat him right there was about as good as you can get. And this is just sort of like a bonus extra credit for me.
Well, speaking of bonus, on Monday you and I played like we do on a
once every 6 months.
Right. And you weren't even entered in this event, and I texted you and I said, you have to enter this event. You're playing the best I've ever seen you play. Luckily for you, a guy dropped out. You had to fill in.
Yeah.
You came to just basically fill out the draw, and now you've worked your way probably into Salt Lake City as a player.
That would be a dream. I actually, to be honest, I wasn't going to play in the tournament even when the guy dropped out. It was you who convinced me when you said, you've never given me a compliment on the handball court ever, and I thought, if you're going to say that, it must be true. Really, I'm being honest. And so I went back and looked at, if it was feasible, and I just happened to read an email where a guy dropped out. So I jumped in. He dropped, I jumped. It was because of what you said.
So right now you're going to enjoy your adult beverage and your win, but tomorrow you're going to take on the winner of Andy Shad and Bear Myring, 2 guys that you know pretty well. I know you played doubles with Bear in the World Championships. Andy, I don't know if you've ever played, but you have to fancy your chances against either guy.
I'm going to beat either one of them, so it doesn't matter who it is.
Well, it'd be hard to bet against you if you play like you did today. I mean, just absolutely amazing. And before we let you go, we have to talk about what John Bike named the CPE, the CSE, the coolest shot ever. At 12-8, you hit a backhanded flat roll into the right corner, and it wasn't as though you were going. It was a ball that was moving slow. You took it with a backhand and flat killed it.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys have the technology here, but I'd like to see that. I don't remember taking that shot. I mean, I heard some people out in the gallery saying, could you sign the back of my hand? I didn't know what that meant, but I don't know if they have that technology for that shot. I don't know how.
Well, I did see you watch it 4 times during that time.
Oh, okay. So you do have the technology then. I thought that was tape delay.
So it was the backhand natural hook for the get, and then the missed opportunity, and the Dave Fink hands in the air.
Okay, let's see if is it here?
There's the backhand with a natural, so it's through him. Now this is where you should have won the rally.
Ball.
Yeah, I was trying
luckily
to.
you didn't win the rally there.
Yeah, I was happy with unhappy with myself there.
The butterfly effect.
Oh yeah, that looks pretty. That's pretty lazy. Now, I think there was a timeout called immediately after that.
That made the score 12-8, but you went on to lose the next 7 points, so it almost worked against you. What's going through your mind there? You go into halftime, now trailing 15-12.
I believe it or not, I was really gassed at that moment, and I just decided I was just going to let this go. Right at that moment, that I was just going to, if maybe he'll make some mistakes, I'll get a couple points. But ultimately, I just took 8 or 9 points off. That's how I was looking at it, just to give myself a breather, because I felt that I could score 3 or 4 on him if I really, really tried. And at that moment, I knew I couldn't really try. So I just said, I'm just going to take this off. Hopefully, he'll make a hand error, and I might get a couple points. So
yeah, I mean,
got lucky.
It seemed like you'd given away the momentum going into halftime, but then somehow you reworked the momentum back in your favor. He took an 18-15 lead, and at that point, you're in that scary area where if he gets a couple more points, it's going to be almost impossible to come back. You catch him at 18. From there, he gets up 22-20, and then you ended on an amazing 5-point run. Well,
I always feel that no matter who I'm playing, I can get about 4 or 5 points just off that serve. And but it has to be, I have to have it right in my head. And I knew at about 20 that I could do it right there. I can go and get 5 points. I just decided I was going to try to flip the switch on and see if I can do it. Sometimes it's very defeating when you go after there and you say you can do it, and then they get you out, and you're like, oh, no, that doesn't work. I can't do that. But I got that first one, I got the second one. I decided to change it up and go over to the back side over here. I put some wrinkles both ways, and I just really got lucky. I really.
Before you go, you see your sponsor on there, Edel Handball, who sponsors the Race for 8 Tour. I saw you wearing the Edel gloves. How much did those help you hitting those amazing hops in there?
Well, you know, I have not felt comfortable, to be honest, with Edel Handball gloves up until this tournament, and he's redesigned those gloves. And right before I went in there, someone said, hey, you're all decked out in Edel stuff. I said, you know, let me just put your gloves on. So I've never played with those gloves before. They felt a little slick at the very beginning, but after that, they're the glove of choice. I mean, really made well. They have this Airflow Max finger padding, which is really interesting because it allows the air to go into the finger padding, and it cools that wetness that might build up inside your glove. So it's what he calls an automatic drying glove. It's one of the very first types of gloves that have ever been designed like that. They have a deer hide. It just has a neat feel to it, like you're wearing I feel like I'm driving a Corvette with my hand. So I actually felt very comfortable with this new glove, and I don't think I'll ever wear anything else. Okay.
Well, we're going to let you do what you need to do to get yourself prepared for the final. Probably even see you in the booth.
This is what it is right here.
Okay. We'll probably see you in the booth. Maybe if not for this upcoming match, you might be out in the gallery scouting. I know how serious you take this with your notebook and everything. But if not, next match we'll definitely see you for the men's semifinals.
Well, I have to say something really quick because I know these guys are about ready to get on. But Andy Shad was sitting courtside, giving me drinks and making sure I was hydrated. Which he's a stand-up guy. Yeah, he's a club member. He also handed me this, and I don't know if the camera can pick it up, but Andy Shad gave me a new one. You have yours? Okay. Yeah. This represents the different armed forces, and he said you have to keep this in the pocket at all time. Now, this is different than the one that you have. You have one. Okay, so it's a little different that if somebody lays it on the table and you don't have yours, you have to buy a round of drinks for everybody. Well, this is different. He said if you put yours out on the table and you don't have yours, I get to punch you in the face. No, I mean it's a little different, but luckily you have yours.
One thing, if you come up to me and you shake my hand with this inside your hand, meaning that you want me to buy you lunch, but I also have mine, then you have to buy me lunch.
Ooh,
it works the reverse.
That's not good.
Yeah, so it's tricky because you come in thinking you're getting the free lunch, and all of a sudden, no, you're paying for 2 lunches.
The other way around. Okay.
Yeah, so it's something to consider.
Well, anyway, so I'm rooting for Andy and or Bear. They're both great guys. One guy played Bear Marion at the World Championships, and and then Andy's just like a mentor of mine. So. It's nice to have both of those guys.
Well, it's great to be able to congratulate you on amazing play.
It's never happened before.
Well, you have won some titles, but this is certainly probably the highest achievement of your singles career, and tomorrow certainly would even add to that. So congratulations once again, and we're going to look forward to seeing you just a little bit later today.
Okay.
For Dave Fink, John Bike, our special guest and winner, Dave Vincent.
Thank you.
We'll catch you in a few minutes for the second Senior Race for 8 semifinals. You stay tuned.